Hey, hey, welcome to the Sassy Girl Entrepreneur Show. I am your host, Deanna Hinsz. Today, we are going to be talking about 5 tips for women who want to achieve greatness. You are going to love these tips, so hang on tight because I'm going to introduce our guest speaker today. She is an author and business coach. She grew up in a small village in Zimbabwe, Africa, and is now in the UK. When she was in Zimbabwe, she questioned as a child the fairness of culture and religion and how they were towards women. In the 90s, she ended up moving to the UK from Africa, and that's when she published her first of 7 books. This woman is absolutely an amazing fire starter. I am so excited to have Debrah Mowlem on my show today. Deborah, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Deanna. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Your story is so impressive. I want to go, before we get on the 5 tips, though, I have to go back to when you grew up in that small village in Zimbabwe, Africa. And you've said that you had questioned the unfairness of culture and religion towards women. What exactly was that like? Shed some light for my audience on what it was like being a little girl in Africa at that time.
I grew up very different because I was maybe one of the few kids who looked at life like, why do women work 90% of the jobs in the village? And why do they accept it? And so because I grew up living with my grandparents, I would ask my granddad, why is it like that? Who says that? Who wrote it? Is it written somewhere? Why do people just accept this situation where women work so hard, sometimes with children strapped on their backs?
Wow.
And then I didn't see the men doing like the physical job so much. And they'll finish like working in the fields and then come back and cook and wash clothes and still do other jobs around the house while the men are sitting there like giving orders and being sad.
Oh my goodness. So yes, you really were exposed to something different. What was told to you when you questioned that? When you asked, where is it written, or why are women working so hard and the men are just sitting back like that? What did they say?
I was told not to ask too much because we were raised to be seen. So my grandfather actually advised me not to marry in my culture because he said you won't fit in.
Did he really? He saw the firecracker in you, didn't he?
He said you ask too much and that's not accepted by culture stuff. And I would say, what culture? Who said this culture? Who brought in this? And I would come back with more questions. So he wasn't very impressed.
Oh my goodness. So I'm guessing that is really those early years. It's always been your passion to really help women. It almost sounds like it. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yes, I always thought, why don't they say something? Like my granddad would say something and my grandmother would just not answer back. And inside I'm answering for her. And I always thought, why can't women stand up and not really rebel, but do things for them as well?
Yes.
Like in their favor as well.
Right. Now, is that what led you to moving to the UK? Because you started selling agriculture at markets in Africa, and then you employed over 20 people doing that. So it sounds like you had a successful business model in Africa. What led you to move to the UK?
I got married.
Oh, that'll do it. That will definitely do it. Now, did you notice things were different when you moved to the UK as far as the way women were treated?
It's the culture was different. The women had more voice. And they were more freer than where I came from. But the community sense of it wasn't as much.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a shock to you to see the first time women standing up for themselves to a man? No. Yeah.
It wasn't a shock because I grew up standing up anyway.
Oh, okay.
As a kid, I was standing up. And then growing up, being like an adult in Africa, I was still the same.
Okay.
I'll just look at men and tell them where to get off, really. But it's one of those things when you look at them, how it's not well balanced. The situation is not well balanced, and I'll just say, why do I have to do it like that, and why do I all the time, to the point that people just avoid you.
Right. Now, is it still like that there? Do you go back and visit Zimbabwe? Do you go? I don't know if you still have family there
I
or
do.
friends.
I still do have family there, but the thing is, people get institutionalized to accept things.
Yes.
Like when it's religion, it gets you to the point that it's written down. Women should be doing this. People should be doing this, and we listen without question. That's the same thing with culture. People listen without question because it's been done for hundreds of years like that. I'm not saying my culture is horrible at all. Some of the things need to change.
Right.
That's all there is. Some of the things need to change to accommodate also so that women can also have a voice, because we also have something to say.
Right. Absolutely.
And seeing that we do 90% of the jobs around the house, shouldn't we have a say in how those jobs are done, or how the country is run, or how shouldn't we have a say in something?
Yes.
That's all
Oh,
the things. I love my country and I love my culture, but there are some
yes.
things that needs to just change.
Is there a change happening?
Yes.
There is. That's good to know. Right. That's good to know. So for those women who are ready for change, right? I love this topic, and I love that you spoke on this, the 5 tips for women who want to achieve greatness. Can you share let's start with the very first one. What can women do who want to achieve greatness?
Well, if you are a woman who want to achieve greatness, this is the thing we need to know. As women, we are stronger together. We are not competing. And know that you don't have to copy anyone. So the first lesson you need to learn is you are complete as a being.
I love that.
You don't need to compete with anyone. You are enough as you are.
Yes. I love that, because so often we feel, I will say I have felt, right? So I won't generalize, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you don't have the right tools, you don't have the right education, just whatever it is. That list can go on and on and on. And those are the things that we tell ourselves in our head. So I love that you're saying, get rid of that head trash.
Yes.
And just embrace who you are. That's not always easy to do, though, is it?
No. It all comes from identity. You have to accept. I've got a book coming out that's saying fuck normal.
Is that your new book coming out?
Embrace your weird.
I love that.
That's because we are all different.
We are.
Okay. The thing why we struggle, we are thinking we are not complete, because we compare ourselves. You see another lady walking there, you think, oh my God, she's so pretty. But what you don't know is she also got her own problems going on.
Yes.
She also got things on her body that she doesn't like.
Yes.
Even supermodels, you'll be surprised. They look at their feet and think, oh, my feet are too big, or my boobs are too small, whatever it is.
Right.
So whoever you compare yourself to, know that they also got some insecurities.
Yeah.
So you are unique, you are enough, you are complete as a being.
Oh, I like that. That's something that you write on your mirror and you remind yourself every morning, right? And you embrace it.
Yes, you need to love you.
Yes.
You are beautiful as you are. You are enough. You are a complete being. That's the first thing we need to learn as women.
Right. And I think that's hard to do. I think it sounds so easy and sounds so simple, but I think that's so hard to do because society in magazines and media and TV shows. And they are getting more diverse than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago, but they portray an image of how we are supposed to look and how we're supposed to behave in
Yes.
a sense as well too. So that's a challenge to say, you know, especially when you're this little girl in Zimbabwe challenging stuff, right?
Yes, yes, I know.
Being told to be quiet, don't question things,
Yes.
right? To stand up. You had that fire way back then to stand up and feel complete. That
And
I love
I did try to be normal. I did try to be normal.
that. Didn't work. Huh?
This is the thing. If I try to be quiet and not question things, people say, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I think, okay, so you want the firecracker in me? I mean, I'm trying to be normal over here. Well,
Yes.
whatever normal is, my normal is okay. I don't know.
Absolutely. I love that. So what is the second thing that we can do as women?
Women, second thing you need to do to achieve greatness, stop hating on other ladies. We
Or
need to stop hating on other ladies. We need to just stop it. If she's got more talent than you, you've got talent in other things.
yes.
If she looks like she's ahead of you, believe me, she's looking at you and thinking you are ahead of her.
That is so accurate. That is so accurate. And I've never heard anyone say that before, but there's so much truth to that, that sometimes the ones that hate on the when women hate on women, it's because they feel that they're in, like, they're below them. They're not as good as they are. But that's not the case at all.
And if it's another lady who you see is below you, help her.
Right.
There's enough space on the platform for all of us.
Yes. I love that. Living in that mindset of abundance.
So
I love that. Where there is enough for all.
Yeah, pull your sister up onto the platform and stand side by side, because we are stronger together.
I love that. And we do, as women, we need to have each other's back. We need to support each other
Yes.
and uplift each other, because it is challenging. I mean, even though in the United States things were not what you saw as a child in Africa, we do have more of a voice, and we use that voice. you know. But we need to support each other. Things are challenging. We do carry a lot on our shoulders, and we try to juggle a lot of hats a lot of times, right? We are owning businesses, and we're working, and we are caretakers, and sometimes right now with we're not only caring for our children, we're caring for our parents, and it can be really stressful, and we need to, as women, come together and lift each other up. So
Yes.
that's a great point. That's a really great point. So that's a second step of what we need to do to achieve greatness. What about the third step?
The third step is we need to take responsibility.
That's hard too, right? Because it's so easy to blame somebody else for your missteps.
It's so easy to say, because I'm poor, because I was brought up by my parents were not good enough, because I'm this, because we give so many. Okay, you were brought up by poor parents. Okay, your parents abused you. Now is the time to fix it.
Yes.
You can actually fix yourself in your mind, in your body, and move on. You can't keep standing there and letting your past take over your future. You can't do that. You have to take responsibility and start running your life.
That's some people, I believe, they have a story, right? Like, well, my parents did this. My parents were addicted. My parents lived on the system. My parents, didn't care about education, whatever it is, whatever the scenario is, right? And they've accepted that as that's their path as well. How do you change your story? How do you make that decision to change your story?
It's what is it you want to change, and how much do you want to change? Because let's say you have a dream to live. I came from the village. I've got people I left in the village who are still in the village.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a choice.
Yes.
I don't have a university degree.
Yeah.
And many people, like when I first published my first book, many people said, "You're not educated. How can you write?" Well, if I can talk, I can write.
Right. So that's interesting because you did not graduate high school, correct?
I graduated high school,
Oh,
but
you did? Okay.
I don't have a university degree. I didn't go to university.
Okay. Okay. So then people were coming up against you, people that you knew and people
Yeah,
who loved you and cared about you and said, "What gives you the right to write a book?"
you're not educated enough. How can you write a book? What's enough?
Right. Why not?
So
Why not you?
I could take those limitations and
Yeah.
accept them for myself. Like, oh, you came from the village. Oh, you're not educated enough. Oh, you're not pretty enough. Oh, you're not this enough. I can take those limitations and let them run my life.
Right.
Or I can go, you know what? Limitations or no limitations, I'm going to go for it.
Good for you.
And
Did go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when you go for it, you can either make it or you won't, or you can learn from it.
Right.
You don't need to listen to limitations. You need to take responsibility for you.
Now, you do. Absolutely. But before you wrote that first book, did you have self-doubt yourself and say you never did? That never
I knew I was a writer at age 7.
Did you really? How did you know that?
I was a weird kid. I didn't, I was a weird kid. Still am weird. I didn't play with other kids. I used to make up my own stories and write them in the sand and make up little characters and when you look up in the sky and see a plane go by, I could
Yeah.
make a story about people in that plane and write it down and imagine where they are going, what they are doing, what do they eat, how do they dress.
Wow. So you always had a really vivid imagination
Yes.
and created stories anyhow. So you knew all you needed to do was put it onto paper.
Yes.
That's awesome. So not many people have that gift to know as a child what their purpose is.
I knew I knew I was a writer, but I never. It wasn't like a career or anything. It's just a hobby.
Right. Wow. Wow. So when people said that to you, like you have no business writing a book, you don't have a college education, what did you say?
I don't even bother answering.
It's not worth your energy. Is that what
This
you're
is the thing. When you know your own identity, you won't be bothered with somebody else's identity.
Oh, that's good.
You
That's
stay in
good.
your lane. When you know yourself, you stay in your lane.
Yes.
Whatever you are doing, I can either support you or ignore you. Either way, you're going to make your own life.
Right.
So why
Right.
should I be bothered whether you're educated or not? What business is it of mine?
I agree. And I honestly believe that the best educations 90% of the time don't come from a school. Not to
Because
say school's not important. There's value there, but I think some of our best lessons are life lessons.
my motto is I can either work with you or I ignore you. I
Mhm.
don't have to hate on you. I don't have to be bothered with you. If you don't like what I'm doing, walk on by.
Yeah.
If you don't think I'm educated enough to write, don't read my book.
Right.
Don't
Right.
worry about reading it. Someone else will read it.
Yes. Yes.
So
That's a great attitude. And if you're listening to this right now, because I talk to a lot of women who do get discouraged, right? They'll reach out to me and they're like, I need your opinion. This is what I want to do, but this is what a friend or a parent or somebody close to them in their lives said, trying to talk them out of it. And I love your message right there. If it's really within you, then you go for it, because if they don't support it, they don't have to read it. They don't have to support you in order for you to live your life and to be happy and to achieve greatness, right? Which is what we're talking about.
you could shut the door and just hide in your room. I've heard experts at video making tell me I don't have a face for it. You should never do videos. I don't listen. I just get on with it. I just do what I'm doing.
Right.
This is the thing. If you want to give me constructive criticism, do
Mhm.
help me. If you don't want to help me, move on. And I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm moving on with it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's good advice for not just the woman who's receiving it, but for somebody else who is not agreeing with someone in their life, right? Maybe I have a friend that I'm like, why is she even doing that? But instead of me giving her my opinion and critique, or not even critiquing her, but saying you shouldn't do that, offering constructive criticism of
Yes.
how it could improve her, because it's clearly her passion. So this is good. This is a good message for everybody who are on both sides of that.
Because as women, we are so good at pulling each other down.
Oh, we are.
We are so good at saying, oh, Dina, it won't work. Oh, you can't do that, Dina. Oh,
No, you're right. We definitely are. Let's get to the fourth one. So what is the fourth tip to achieve greatness?
the fourth tip is you need to learn to stand on your own. You need to be your own boss.
Yes. And you really need to achieve that confidence.
You need to be your own, whether you've got a career or whether you've got a business, your life is for you to run.
Right.
Don't put your life in somebody else's hands.
And that I did a lot of self-sabotaging for a long time. And I was afraid to stand on my own. I felt like I gave the appearance of standing on my own, right? So others might have thought that that's what I was doing, but really behind the scenes, I was using everybody's comment and influence they were holding me up. It really wasn't me standing on my own, because I didn't have that confidence in myself at that point. How do you build that confidence so that you can stand on your own for someone who's struggling with that right now?
Identity, you need to know yourself enough. Know yourself and acceptance. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be too hard on yourself. You are the best version of you.
Oh,
If
yes.
you want to get better, work on you.
Yes.
Don't worry about, because this is the thing, what makes ladies more fearful. It's what people will say.
It's true. And why do we do that?
Because before I start my business, I will tell everybody, I'm gonna start my business, I'm gonna do ABCD.
Yes.
Okay. And we know most of our friends that we keep, not me, but most of women, we keep a lot of friends that are very much against you.
Yes.
When we know that, you keep friends who are very much against you. And what you're trying to do by telling them what
Wow.
you're going to do is to prove to them that you can do it. Now the fear comes in of, what if it doesn't work? Because you know very well those women are going to be laughing the loudest.
Wow. Why do we do that? And there's some truth to that. There really is. We do keep those women around, and it's to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
And
And we need
God, it's almost like,
approval.
yes. Go
We
ahead.
need, we need their validation. Why do you need to keep 1,600 friends who don't like you?
That is so true. Can I tell you, the older I get, the fewer friends I have.
Yes. Because now, as you get older, you're now looking for authenticity.
Yes.
You are
Yeah.
looking for friends who will be there for you.
That's so true. I mean, I remember being younger and I was friends with everybody, and I loved being friends with everybody. And everywhere I went, I had friends, and I thought that was great. And the older I get, there's a lot of people I still know them and their acquaintances, and I care about them and I like them, but I don't really consider them the same type of friend that I did when I was in my 20s as I do now being 50. It looks much different now. And you know, I hear what you're saying as far as who we keep around us. And I did that for a long time. And I think now I did a little cleaning house,
The
and I don't
thing
think they're there now.
As you grow in yourself, they just fall off on their own.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden you're confident, you're now boring, you're no longer the needy friend who's like, oh, please help me. How do I look? Oh.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true. And you know, some of the friendships that I've lost, and I would absolutely own it. And I've said it, I've changed. Like, and I recognize that. Like, I've gotten more focused on my life. I've gotten more focused on my goals. And yeah, that is just something that changed along the way, that some of my friends did just fall off. And it's sad, but it's okay.
They were not true.
You're right. My mother would say that same
They're
thing.
not true. And you didn't need them. And
Yeah.
sometimes you outgrow them.
Yes. Yes.
You
That's true.
outgrow
I
your
think we can all
friends and
relate to that.
you have to let them go.
Yeah. Wow. So to achieve greatness, we are on the last step, number 5.
The
What do
last
we have to do? I'm like, I'm taking notes over here. I'm like, I'm going to watch this on the replay, take notes, and make sure I check all these boxes of what I need to do as a woman to achieve greatness. What is the last step, Deborah, that we can do?
the last step is achieve your dream. I
Mm.
will explain that one because
Yes.
you are the one person standing in your way.
That is so true. So true.
Why are you not achieving your dream? Because you know what you've always wanted to do. You know it.
Yeah.
Why are you not achieving it? Because you are standing in the way. Okay, you might not know how to run a business. Okay, you might not know how to sing. You can learn. If that's what you want to do, go and learn it.
Gosh, I mean, you're not sugarcoating anything, are you?
No,
No.
no, we're not doing that. Not today, Jesus.
Quit
This
making
is
the excuses. Quit making the excuses and just do it.
one of the old ladies. One of the oldest person I coached is an old lady who's 85.
Oh, wow.
At 85, she started a blog. At
Wow.
85, she said, well, I've got things to say. I said, well, start a blog. She said, I can't type. I said, yes, you can. And she started a blog and it's doing very well. And she just blossomed. Why are you standing in your way? Why is it too late? Why do you think at 40 it's too late to start following your business?
Right.
Why is it you think your dream, oh, I can't do that now. I'm 55. Really? You've already dug your grave and you're already sitting in it at 55, waiting to be buried. Why can't you do it at 55?
Right.
Why can you not do it at 70? Why at 35 do you think, oh, I've got children, it's too late? Too late for what?
You know, you're right. There's never going to be a perfect time.
You want
There
your
will
dream?
never be a perfect time. You just
Go
have
get
to
it.
dig in there and do it.
If it's your dream, if it's what you want to do, go get it. The only person standing in your way is you.
That is a great message to end this conversation with, because there is no punches being pulled here. You're not sugarcoating anything. It's get out of your way. Just make it happen. You want to achieve greatness, you have it within you. Each and every woman, each and every man, right? I mean, I know we're talking to women, but every person out there has it within them to achieve greatness if you want to. And Deborah, thank you so much for sharing. How can my audience reach you if they want to work with you as a business coach, or if they want to purchase one of your books and read and hear everything? I mean, you've got me so intrigued on everything now. How can they reach you?
I'll put links with this video and this podcast. I'll put links with that. But you can get me on debrahmowlem.com, which is at the moment is offline, but it will be online in 2 days' time.
Okay.
And askdm.com, that's my other website. And I will put links for the group, Facebook groups and LinkedIn and stuff.
Perfect. For everybody who is watching this on YouTube or on social media or my website, the links are in the comments. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcast, just head on over to my website And you will see this video and podcast as well on there. And all the links to reach Deborah will be available on there, so you can reach out to her. Deborah, thank you so much again. I appreciate your time and your energy and your thoughtfulness and just sharing everything with me today. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll catch everybody next week.
Thank you.